I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into a powerful book that is called Dead Reckoning by Bahman Sholevar. It is a profound novel that contrasts Iran's rich, turbulent cultural history with the radical innocence of America. This powerful story follows a young man's journey to understand America not just as a place, but as an idea and vision, revealing what it means to be a new American. Sholevar's work is both symbolic and realistic, challenging readers to reflect on identity, history, and belonging. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Bahman, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Great having you on the show. Tell us what inspired you to write Dead Reckoning and how you came up with the idea.
Uh, as I said, just when Dead Reckoning was going to be published, I'd already been banned from Iran for about years. About my first book, the Knight's Journey and the Coming of Messiah, came out it was finished in 1963, was published in 1966. And I knew my life would be in danger once it was published. So I just finished medical school and I was given an internship. I gave it up, a diplomatic position in Europe as the economic secretary of Central Treaty Organization. Ended up on a diplomatic position, and the book was published in my absence. That allowed me to leave Europe and come to the United States on my diplomatic passport before going back and getting killed. Some of the events in the thing are real. For example, that torture of that character in the book, things like that happened during Shah's time. So that particular one is almost realistic. A rebel was tortured unto death, and they mutilated the body and threw it into a river. And the rebels, people, the underground press, grabbed the thing and published the pictures in the picture. The thing is that the child's father is the chief justice of Iran at the time. His uncle is a cabinet minister. Both of them have been former leftist rebels. But at what cost they have come, so that one is now the chief justice of the country, the other one is the cabinet minister. The father has a PhD in constitutional law from France. He's professor at the University of Tehran. Then his own son is being killed under torture. He cannot open his mouth because now the life of his younger son could be in danger. And that shows about how people can be, the freedoms that we talk about, how it can depend on so many different things. Boy, of course, the father is trying to get him out so that he would be safe. He wants to send him to America, of course, Thomas Jefferson's America. He sees America, what he says, at the last, where the future is being formed. And he sees it at the last battle, where the last battle between good and evil are going to fall. Which is a paraphrase of Thomas Jefferson's saying that says, America is the last best hope of mankind. But what happens now, because his son's life is in danger, he has to be quiet about everything that happens to his others. And the boy has to do whatever they want because his father's life is in danger. And that's really at the heart of the novel. Finally, they make the kid, they allow him to enroll in the University of Tehran as in the College of Law, provided he agrees to become an informer to the Savak, which was the secret police of Iran. And 2 years he's there until he gets a pass. Then they arranged so that the United States government would not give him a visa because they accuse him of being a communist, a 16-year-old boy, just has never been in politics. And there it's a Logan, Luga, I forget the name of it, but the consul is a poet who, at the cost of his own career, gave this boy a visa to go to Thomas Jefferson's America, which is in contrast to, let's say, the America of the 19th century of the barons of the social Darwinism. And I think I regret to say that it seems like we're moving the same direction. The social Darwinism is coming back, so that just people like Elon Musk and the owner of Fox News, what's his name, Rupert Murdoch.
Right.
These people really are just reflections of the social Darwinism of the 19th century. So the boys come to the United States. Of course, the boy actually, the novel actually, the whole novel, he's working on the novel. The kid is now 36 years old, 17 years after he came. And the novel starts with his diary, which goes back 17 years. So the events of 17 years in this boy's life and the whole life of the country taking place from a Friday to a Monday, which is again reflecting like the resurrection of Jesus uh, uh, after crucifixion, and then on Monday. So this boy for 17 years has been totally lost. He doesn't know what his identity is. His father is dead. His uncle is dead. His mother is not back there again because he's with his mother's death practically. And for 17 years, going to school but not graduating, studying everything that happens. And this, in a way, again, sometimes one's life comes into it. When I gave up my medical school in Iran, my MD, I came here, I did not have my MD. I had to go back to medical school and do the whole medical school here again. And for years, I lost my diplomatic passport. The governor of Iran would not give me a new passport. They were actually putting pressure on the United States to have me deported back to Iran so that I would probably be tortured and dead, because of the war. And it took many, many years. And in fact, I still have a copy of it. When I was about to finish my medical school here, I got a letter from immigration that 2 weeks to leave the country or get deported. I guess I could not even get graduate from, even though I had a PhD here, I had 2 master's degree, 2 bachelor's degree, one from England. But they were going to deport me because they said I had changed universities without getting permission. So it was only after the Iranians, the whole thing was upside down and this and that, they could not deport me back because my past history, they could not accuse me of being a communist. How the hell could I be secretary of Central Treaty Organization, the sister pact of NATO, and having been a communist? So they could not accuse me of that, so they could not deport me back. It took them 20 years before they give me my permanent visa, and eventually 25 years getting my citizenship. So some of the things here, what they say, the life imitating the art. Because it's in fact what happened, which is not in the book. 44 years I've been here in self-imposed exile. I dared take a trip back to Iran. After I'd been, my books were banned. I was enemy both to the Shah and to the Islamic Revolution. I was invited to go back by the University of Tehran and the writers and publishers with my translations of Faulkner and T.S. Eliot being reprinted. They were going to honor me and my background. I arrived there. The day arrived, we were going to the Palace of Art for me to be honored. Mm-hmm. 2 reporters sitting by me. The telephone calls come from the secret police that I'm not allowed to appear on the stage. My name should not be mentioned. I cannot read poetry. But I was dead. I went there anyway. All they dared to just thank me for appearing on it. I went back to this relative house where I was staying, waiting for them to come and arrest me the next day, which is what happens exactly in the book. That the boy goes back to the funeral of the mother and gets arrested immediately at the airport and accused because his father was the chief justice of the Shah, because his uncle was the minister of the Shah, and because his diary showed that he had been drinking and debauching in the United States for 17 years. And so they take him back to the Evin prison where his brother had been tortured there and killed. And he's about to be tortured when his uncle, who is now somebody like Elon Musk, was a great arm merchant, a great merchant, billionaire living in Switzerland. He's $500,000 bribe to an Ayatollah in his life. This is where life was imitating.
Oh,
The next day,
absolutely.
after being arrested, suddenly I got calls from every newspaper in town, the radios, the television. They wanted interviews. All these reporters up and they said, "What happened?" From the office of the supreme leader, the message came to leave you alone. The supreme leader, of course, he's about 2 years older than I am. At the time that I was in Iran and United States fighting against the Shah, he was part of that thing that later became the Islamic Republic. In fact, right after the change of the government, I published a poem, and in the poem I said, "The crown butcher is gone, on his throne, the turban butcher." And I immediately went from the Shah's enemy list to Khomeini's enemy list.
Yeah,
Is why I was just a dead man, you know. So
amazing.
much of what is in the book, I have, even when I was writing those, and it's funny, when I went back during those 2 weeks that allowed me to live, I translated it back into Persian.
Mm.
And the publishers, I knew darn well that they would not allow it to be published. But by the time this went to the centers, they turned it down. The publisher himself got in trouble. I was against safety out, and I've never come back.
Amazing.
The
And the
way
book
a
is
lot
now
of it
the book's now published in multiple languages as well, right?
yes, it was published in United States first. First the Persian thing got published in Europe,
Hmm.
but then all of these, about 15 years ago, they published in the United States. Then they've all been pirated in Iran, so that it's available to people in the underground. Of course, the first one had been pirated from the Shah's time, and for the past 60 years, it has been available. But where we are.
Amazing. The name of the book is Dead Reckoning. It is a profound novel that contrasts Iran's rich, turbulent cultural history with the radical innocence of America. It's a powerful story that follows a young man's journey to understand America not just as a place, but as an idea and a vision, revealing what it means to be a new American. Bahman, thank you so much for joining me here today on
Thank you very
Spotlight.
much.
I
One thing
appreciate
about, that uh, uh, what the uh, what the interview, I mean, the introduction of the book says by that critic, it says this book becomes an American novel,
Mm.
Huckleberry Finn, like the novels of Hemingway or Henry James, in the sense that now this man has to discover the meaning of America. And it says, America is what we bring to it. And he says,
Right.
I empty-handed. He goes back to Iran, and he says, when I come back, I come with my arms full. And when the lady at New York says, "You're poor, give me this and that," I said, "No, no, no. You give me a toy. I have come back to that point." But of course, he comes back empty-handed again. Goes
Mm.
to Waterloo, Iowa, with a symbolic name of Waterloo, and trying to build the Garden of Eden. That's what I've been trying to do for
Well,
83 years.
I think you have succeeded, and very great work on this book, of course, and it's such an important message. I appreciate your time today. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time
The book was
on
nominated
Spotlight.
for Pulitzer Prize and National Book Award, but I didn't get any of them.